Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Thomas. Tonight we're back here with Kill Count. Today's Kill Count is Tales from the Hood 3. Yep, the last one of the trilogy, released in 2020. So, yeah, like I said, this one's going to be a long day, so this is the last of the franchise. Let's wrap this up. Be sure to like, subscribe for more. Hope you guys enjoy it. Let's go.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally
James,
up the
how you
victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Tales from the Hood 3, which premiered on Sci-Fi in 2020. I looked at the first two Tales movies back in October, right before this third one came out. The first film, released in the mid-90s, is a masterpiece full of scary moments and hilarious lines, all while telling poignant social stories. The second, released 2 years ago, was, not that. Tales 3, for the most part, is more of what you'd expect. Unsurprising, given that it was once again written and directed by Rusty Cundiff and Darren Scott, with Spike Lee serving as executive producer. They give us 4 short stories, each exploring a different pocket of society, connected by a wraparound narrative starring Tony Todd, our dearest beloved Candyman, and a guy who will teach you all about good Thai food.
We also got some Thai iced teas.
We have Thai iced tea,
Delicious.
delicious, and it brings out the 7-year-old in everybody.
He's the perfect spiritual successor to Clarence Williams and Keith David, even though he's not playing the devil-in-disguise funeral home director, Mr. Sims. Sims and his demonic deception are entirely absent from Tales 3, and with him gone, so too is a lot of the series' funny moments. Most of this film's humor is relegated to flatulence in the 4th story. From a filmmaking and message delivering perspective, Tales 3 is a significant improvement over Tales 2. All of the shorts and the wraparound have a consistent tone to them, a kind of cold eeriness that feels almost world-weary, probably owing to its filming location of Winnipeg, Manitoba. There's also a lot of really interesting visuals to look at, stuff that's way more inspired than vampire ladies with cheap fake fangs. Most importantly though, the film's social messages are back to being less overt and clumsy, for the most part anyway. But part of what made that first film so successful was that it's a friggin' joy to watch, in spite of how heavy and dark it could get. Tales 3 feels like it forgot to have fun, which, I mean, given 2020, I get. I just miss moments like Sims' snaky tongue, you know? At least there are still kills to count in it, a couple of them damn bloody. So let's make the questionable transition to talking about balls. Manscaped has always looked out for the little guy, and nowadays it's got your whole gosh dang body covered. From the dirt under your fingernails to the hair in your nose, if you've got an extremity that needs cleaning, Manscaped's got you covered. And holy crap, it's December, which means you can get Manscaped as a gift for your favorite person. May I suggest the Performance Package? It's got a lot of stuff. To get 20% off and free shipping for your order, just go to manscaped.com/deadmeat. That's 20% off and free shipping to the US, the UK, the EU, Australia, and Canada by going to manscaped.com/deadmeat. Tales 1 and 2 both had 13 kills each. Can this threequel top them in the bodies department? Let's find out.
Huh? Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Though, for this one, it does seem like it's, well, okay, I think I see what's going on here. Just, like he said, forgot to have fun. You know, I guess with this one, it's a 2 out of 3 situation. Whereas the first one had all 3 of, you know, fun, horror, and a good message. The second one, well, horror, I guess. I don't know. I'm guessing I was missing some. Well, the third one had 2. At least that's how I see it. But what do you guys think? Well, anywho, let's get to it. Let's see how many people die during these Tales from the Hood. Let's go.
The movie begins in a spooky woods. How spooky are they? Well, there's a tombstone-breathing fire mofo, so you tell me. A guy named William, played by Tony Todd, is carrying a little girl named Brooklyn, played by newcomer Sage Arundel. Together, they're apparently fleeing some hooded figures called the Bad Things. To pass the time as they keep moving, Brooklyn suggests some entertainment.
When I'm scared, Mommy
The Bad
tells
Things
me
aren't
stories.
like cops.
Mommy knows all the stories. I don't know any good stories.
Can I tell you a story?
William says she can, as long as she whispers, so our pint-sized narrator begins with a once upon a time. Her first tale is called Ruby Gates, named after this rundown apartment building that's very nearly empty. Slumlord David Burr, played by London Brown, owns this almost abandoned building, and is currently visiting the last unit still occupied, apartment 313, shout out to D-Town! He's here trying to convince Paul Bradford to take an offer and leave, so he can put up some new real estate and gentrify the area. But Paul doesn't want to put his son Ethan through the stress of moving, what with the chemotherapy and all. No, at least the little guy can still dribble a ball like nobody's business.
Stop bouncing that damn ball!
Damn, dude,
Rude.
you about to yell
That's
at
not
somebody
really how
else's
you
kid?
get
He's
them
got
out.
cancer? You need to make like a Jordan Peele movie and...
Get out!
David's already agreed to sell Ruby Gates to a developer named Joe, and with that future
Really?
heart attack threatening to sue if he doesn't follow through, David turns to an
And
old
that's why you
contact
gotta
named
think your
Mickey,
plans
played by
through
Arn
with the
McPherson,
tenants
who we saw in
before you
Wrong
sell.
Turn 4 as a doctor who got torn to pieces. Mickey's specialty is making things toasty, so David hires him to start a fire that'll scare the Bradford family away, but won't hurt them.
We start a big grease fire in the kitchen. When they hear the fire alarm, they got lots of time to get out the rear exit before the fire can even get close to them.
That night, Paul and his family have a mournful
Fire is
lifetime
unpredictable
exchange
sometimes.
about Ethan's uncertain future, then snuggle into bed with their basketball. Don't dribble while you sleep now. Actually, they've got bigger problems than soggy pillows, cause Mickey just jazzercised his way into the building, and he ain't going to the kitchen to start that fire. He's in the 313. Later, David is called to the building, where he learns that the fire seriously scarred Paul's wife Stacy, which is some heavy shit to see. Even heavier though, Paul and Ethan straight up burned to death in the fire. Dude, what the fuck? You burned up a kid with cancer. That's like a ticket to super
Sorry,
hell.
Brad, you're
David
done.
is told the Bradfords
David's
couldn't escape because his shitty building smoke alarms didn't work. Sounds like his tenants weren't ballers like him. They led way more meager lifestyles in much less fancy apartments. Look at
And that's why usually the apartment owner is usually the one that takes care of the maintenance. If you don't, well, you get shit like this. Way to go, buddy. You just caused the death of a kid. And, well, as we'll learn, the rest of the family. Not cool, man. Not cool.
Look at that ceiling molding, damn! And a bonus for David's place is that it gets great reception.
Yep, here comes the hauntings.
Hard to keep up with the conversation when it just keeps bouncing around though. Aw, and now we stuck playing phone tag?
We're not available right now because you burned us alive.
David's ghostly night is finished off with an unseen swipe at his back and a vanishing little ball bouncer. The next day, David goes to Mickey's place and promptly shoots him to death, knowing he needs to silence his connection to the
Damn,
Ruby
David,
Gates arson.
cold.
Damn, man, this dude really kicked it up a notch. As did that Joe guy who's lounging in his underwear on a set swing as he celebrates the real estate deal made on the Bradfords'
Thanks for running,
ashes.
I'm going on this cruise on this boat out of Thailand. They call the Love Boat. International waters.
Ugh, well, at least now we know what it would be like if Rob Reiner ever played Jeffrey Epstein. David calls the hospital and learns that Stacy Bradford has also died from her burns. Makes sense, she was looking pretty well done back there. But does that mean she's gonna start ghost visiting David like her son does? Might not be as bad as the constant
looks like
phone calls. Ethan is just non-stop lighting up David's phone. David returns to Ruby Gates, where he's greeted with a sort of changeling reference. When that fails to slow his roll, the ball gets digital and bounces right into his hands, like a kitty eager for attention.
Sorry, Lucy, I have to work right now.
Photosensitive viewers beware, because inside the Bradford apartment, there's a bunch of flashing lights. And a dinosaur! Oh, sucks that not everyone gets to see the dinosaur.
Whoa, clown.
But at least everyone got to hear that clown. It's just a toy clown, but
wasn't
it's
Pennywise.
still pretty scary, so David gets out of the flashy room. When he goes to leave, he's confronted by Bradford ghost zombies that prove impervious to bullets, but very, very flammable. I like the way they look running down the hall at him, though sadly, they just kind of dissolve away like all the other ghosts we've seen. They reappear alongside their son, who apparently just made 3 shots in NBA Jam. He passes the fireball to David, which launches him backwards out the window of his own building. He hits the ground hard and
David.
dies shortly after impact, and the
Oh,
ghost
yeah.
Bradfords return to their home down through more
That
simple
stands for us.
dissolves. Back in the wraparound, which is called The Mouths of Babes and Demons, William tells Brooklyn
Just say
that she's
babes.
too young to be telling stories like that, and that makes him sad. In fact, he's
Yeah, long story about that one. I gotta say, the Ruby Gate one, oh boy, really goes to show you, gotta be careful what you do. You know, comics a bitch and it'll come for you. Even if you try to hide it, it will always come for you. Anyway.
He's too busy crying to notice more dissolving ghosts behind them. But that's what bad things do. They hide.
They know how to make themselves look normal. Evil has a way of looking really nice and shiny on the outside.
William and Brooklyn
those
get
words in
moving
mind,
again,
huh?
with her
We'll see
promising to whisper as she begins another tale. This second
Tales two?
story, called The Bunker, is honestly just not good. It's basically a one-man play about a guy named Denton Wilbury, played by Cooper Huckabee, who was the boyfriend character in Tobe Hooper's The Funhouse. Denton lives the life of an isolationist/survivalist, keeping to his bunker and threatening anyone who gets too close with his gun. He also has a radio show and broadcasts to his audience of patriots a message of white supremacy and individualism, though he doesn't always use the right words in his diatribes.
It is never too late
Now
to
the
return to what
smartest
we
guy,
once
I guess.
were, a country of values, based on a constitution as told by a white god to white men.
I tend to like the trait where a character uses wrong but similar sounding words when they talk, and it makes me laugh sometimes here.
Ignorant domain, my ass.
But that's about all I like in this tale. Between rapid-fire bursts of slurs and ignorance, Denton complains about how he's been walled in by forces of authority for the past 30
Shouldn't you
years,
sing that to
leaving him to
yourself?
defend and survive with minimal resources. It's a tough life, especially when he's got people messing with his place, which occasionally brings him outside.
Please refrain from any antagonizing. That's right.
If you haven't quite realized what's happening yet, the bunker will give you a minute to figure it all out. In the meantime, Denton's gonna get horny looking at his so-called white goddess and take out his sexual frustrations on blow-up dolls of color, all while spitting more racist vitriol at them.
Ow! Nappy-head harlot!
Hey, movie? This
Whoa,
is
bro.
not what I want to see. Who asked for 5 straight minutes of this? I'm jealous of that dude being able to mute the sounds and ignore it. Later, Denton's bunker starts rumbling and crumbling again, so he storms back outside, a racist ball of horny fury.
You can call that the straw that broke the mammal's back!
He finally opens fire on his onlookers, only for the bullet to bounce back towards him and go straight into his brain. That's because Denton's surrounded by an invisible force field, and that's because he's in a zoo exhibit, getting gawked at by other people. Turns out all that banging was on the cage of this endangered animal, the American racist. Yeah, this one feels like Tales 2 and how much of a blunt force message it has.
Do we have time to go see the misogynist exhibit?
And also, it just wasn't any good. Why'd we have to watch a guy horn it up to a poster for so long? Come on. Brooklyn says she
Yeah,
learned
fair,
that story
that was
from her
dumb.
mom, who's usually the one to pick her up from school, not William like he did today. Her mom also goes to church every Sunday. So what you got to say about that, Willie?
Well, your mother is a saint. I'm more of a work in progress.
But he says that he's taking Brooklyn to see her mom right now, so they press onward, the third tale starting in his ear, courtesy of a piggyback rider. Our third story, Operatic, is about Chella Simpson, a backup singer whose talent sometimes eclipses the leading lady. She's scouted by a dude named Park, who offers to be her manager and get her gigs. In the meantime, to keep her financially stable, he'll hook her up with a job at a rich old lady's mansion. Cello.
Well, I gotta admit, if the fact she can out-sing the lead, I'm thinking, why are we having our lead sing? Let her do it. Jeez, never really diss the one that has the talent, alright? You never know where they're going, so probably keep her in mind. Anyway, time for this job. Let's see how it goes.
Will be a paid companion to Marie Benoit, an anemic former opera singer played by Lynn Whitfield, who's constantly reliving her glory days through an old film reel. She takes to Chella immediately.
Aren't you a pretty thing?
and notes that because Park is sexy and Chella's sexy, maybe they should make sexy times together. Very nice. During pillow talk, Chella complains to Park that Ms. Benoit plays the same film reel all day, every day. But that's because this is the only recording Benoit has. This performance of Carmen was her one and only public show.
In 1958, it was unheard of for a colored girl to star in an opera.
A racist outcry after the show kept her from ever performing again. And then, she laments, she got old.
People despise old almost as much as they do black.
Lynn Whitfield's performance helps elevate this tale a lot, as does this unsettling moment when Benoit has her young face projected onto her face. Creepy and thematic. I like it. With the conversation flowing, Chella mentions that she's a singer too, a regular goddamn cheetah girl, exciting Ms. Benoit until she's let down by the performance.
But I feel down.
She calls Chella's voice serviceable but in need of proper training, a measured if brusque criticism that Chella does not take constructively.
You fucking bitch!
Oh shit, Chella,
Yikes,
you can't be
dude, calm
saying
down,
that. Oh
Chella.
shit, Chella, you can't be doing that. Oh my god, she is crushing that head like it was a pumpkin. Halloween just got canceled, motherfuckers. Just kidding. That's not what Chella did in real life. Instead, she's just a little crybaby. Benoit apologizes for making Chella feel bad and gives her an old music box as a mea culpa. Then her anemia starts acting up, and she asks Chella to get her a new bag of blood. Blood, it does the body good. Chella relays her day to Park, including the dome-crushing daydream she had.
I want to kill that bitch.
Yeesh, Chella, calm down.
Do you want to?
Park says they could do it and rob Benoit blind, then use the money to start a studio and make Chella a star. She plays the music box as she ponders the proposal, then slips into a sleep state populated by portrait people and paralyzed performances.
You'll never be a singer girl.
Ms. Benoit got some big lep energy right there. Oh, and Chella's doing some kind of Guillermo del Toro thing? All right, that'll wake you up with a start.
Let's do it. Let's kill her.
And a resolution to murder. Their plan is to adulterate Ms. Benoit's type O blood with Chella's type B blood, which her body will reject. If they spread it out over a week, she'll slowly fall ill and die, keeping them free from suspicion. A few days later, the plan is working out, with Benoit quite coffee and sweaty. The last thing she tells Chella is that she's a true gift for being there. And then she apparently dies off screen since Park and Chella are now bouncing in bed with a bunch of Benjamins. They kind of followed the underpants gnome business plan and shrugged their way to profit. That night, while Chella sleeps, Park plays the music box for her, which seems to trigger another nightmare, this one more Suspiria looking. Chella watches as an older man chants and drinks some blood, all part of a ritual that lets this old dude walk around looking like Park. Oh shit, she got catfished! Chella then watches through a bathroom mirror as Ms. Benoit imbibes blood too, looking all cozy and sensual in the bathtub. Really puts you in the mood for a blood kiss. Irony. Chella screams until she wakes up first person inside Ms. Benoit's room. After some Disney Channel sounding narration,
What is happening? What is happening? What is happening?
we see that she's now stuck inside Benoit's body. Park arrives, looking fly, and says Chella can look fly too. Fly like the Batman! And make sure you land with that patented movie fall leg bend. Perfect. Park tells the dying Chella, stuck in this older body, that he and Ms. Benoit have been lovers for decades, and that they've been plotting to keep their love eternal through body swap and blood magic.
I was the first to steal a body, but Marie, she was very patient.
He thanks Chella for having the voice that they were waiting for, then walks away as she's left dying in Ms. Benoit's body. A denouement to the tale shows Benoit, now in control of Chella's body, nailing an audition with some Carmen. In the wraparound...
Damn. Man, I gotta say, that's one way to regain youth. And I feel like this is definitely what gave, like, the inspiration to, you know, X and Pearl. Well, mostly X, but you get the idea, right? Older person just wants, you know, to be young again, or just to feel young, and, well, one did it through blood magic, the other, murder. Whoops. Anyway, back to it. In the last tale, anyway.
William continues taking Brooklyn through cold, rundown buildings towards the rendezvous with her mother. They hop onto an elevator to get there, and as it descends deeper and deeper into the fiery-looking underground, Brooklyn begins her fourth and final tale. Dope Kicks is about a knockout mugger who's been so prolific lately, he's on the goddamn news. Percy Woodhouse sees a supercut of his assaults, then watches as the granddaughter of his latest victim cuts a mean promo on his ass.
Whoever you are, you will feel the pain of the people you've hurt and their loved ones. You will walk a mile in your victim's shoes. Trust.
During his nightly mugging rounds, Percy attacks a dude named Victor wearing a Tommy Jarvis jacket and punches him so hard, we later find out it friggin' killed him with one punch. Man. Though his victim doesn't have a lot of cash, he does have some very gold shoes, so Percy takes the fresh footwear, planning to sell them and get paid. After a little test run, of course. How could he not take them out for a spin?
Shit's like walking in a goddamn Lamborghini.
Yeah, and you know what they say about... What the fuck was that thing? Hey, did you see that? No?
Was that a vampire?
Okay. Percy is grabbing some chicken dinner and harassing a woman when he suddenly loses control of his bladder. As he returns home, he gets the bubble guts, causing him to straight up shit his pants, which is a great way to ruin a chicken and beer mandate with your bro while earning a derisive nickname.
Yo, I'm about to call you Big Stinky right now, man.
Big Stinky tries to take a shower, just missing scary faces in his bathroom mirror, but finds his shoes unwilling to part ways with his feet. And so he has to shower with his pants on, and I mean, poop warning, yo? Wash the shit out of his pant legs? What the fuck, Tales 3? Things just ain't right with Percy, who's also got a case of the shivers, so he bundles himself up and heads towards a clinic. On his way, he sees some sky sperms, and then witnesses a car accident that brings a frickin' angel to the scene. Oh, hey, she can help me with my job. How about it, angel lady? Is that woman still alive? No? Alright, I'll put her on the list. Thanks, that's all I needed. You can have her on chest light or whatever. Oh, soul. That's probably the soul, huh? Souls look warm. The angel ascends into the sky as Percy's racked with some serious stomach aches. But he's not gonna get to the clinic any quicker when there are demon bird guys all around. Watch out, Percy. Oh, shit. Yo, demon bird guy just killed that dude. Wrong place, wrong time, I guess. Further aches and pains keep slowing Percy down until he's rendered entirely immobile. He stands in place all night and day with the passers-by assuming he's a human statue, which is not an unreasonable assumption in a city subway station. Doesn't give you the right to mess with him though, demon bird guy. Actually, you know what? I like demon bird guy. I bet he listens to MSI. Percy is discovered and taken to the hospital in a scene that feels reminiscent of both Hardcore Convert from the first Tales movie and the scary doctor scene from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
She ain't about to get sick.
That's if he was never thrown on feet.
Oh, with a splash of the Charlie Brown teacher voice too. Percy rides his gurney through the floor and straight into hell, but the flames spit him right back on up again into the hospital, with attending physician Demon Bird Guy. Get him, Dr. Birdman, fuck his face up. The bird demon chases him through the halls with some fun trippy visuals until Percy winds up in a room with the old woman he knocked out and her cursing granddaughter.
When I invoked a curse for you to walk a mile in your victim's shoes, I had no idea you would make it oh so literal.
She tells him he's been cursed to share his last victim's experience, which just so happens to be dying. That's why he's gotten the chills, the runs, the rigor mortis. Percy's a regular living dead dude. I mean, he did rage in the cage and piss upon the stage. She also tells him that he's been seeing angels and demons who chaperone souls into the appropriate afterlives. The demon birds want to take Percy's soul to hell, but they can't since he's not technically dead yet. His options are to be eternally pecked at by demons trying to get his soul, or break the curse and go to hell, which will suck, but I guess not as much. To break the curse, Percy has to apologize to his victim, so he heads to the morgue to say sorry to the dead body. Before he can gain access to it though, a coroner starts slicing into the corpse, which results in an equal amount of flesh tearing from Percy's living dead bod. I love the gore here as Percy continues to share his victim's experience, and I guess I'll count him as dead, even with his soul trapped in his body since he was unable to break the curse. Sorry, Birdman. William tells Brooke that they've finally reached the rendezvous to see her mom. But if you haven't figured it out by now, this dude's not exactly on the up and up, which is why he's breaking out a camera in a dingy basement.
This is weird.
Yes, it is. It is painful to see Tony Todd play a friggin' child predator. But I think that's why he was cast in this role. After all, he told us earlier.
You know, the bad things, they know how to make themselves look normal.
Shiny
Evil has a way of looking really nice and shiny on the outside.
Brooklyn tells William that the bad things are here, meaning he may not have time to kill her with an axe on camera. His child snuff film is indeed canceled by another baghead. And check it out, this one's a ghost. The bad things that have been chasing them aren't bad things at all. They're little ghost children who William previously killed and buried here. But they're not mad, dude. They're just here to chili down with the Wild Gang. Just kidding, they're pissed since William's a piece of shit. Brooklyn and her new friends surround him with weapons, causing him to break down and try to talk his way free.
How you tell you to your mommy?
You don't know my mommy.
But you will know me.
You know, I like that my expectations were successfully subverted here. I thought I'd be hearing Tony Todd reprise the famous line with his wonderful voice, but instead it comes from a decrepit-looking little girl.
Welcome to hell.
I don't hate it. The kids descend on William with hatchets and the like, stabbing and hacking away until he's been fully decapitated. With that, their souls are freed and head into the heavens. Brooklyn, the little devil girl, is left with William's head/soul, and the movie ends with her laughing into the camera while her eyes burn with hellfire. Anthologies have more stories being told, so they should probably have more kills, right? Let's test that theory and get to the numbers.
But okay. Alright, ball time.
There were 12 kills in Tales from the Hood 3, meaning it falls one short of its two predecessors. Way to drop the ball, movie. With a runtime of 102 minutes, that left us with a kill on average every 8.5 minutes. I'll give the Golden Chainsaw for coolest kill to Percy Woodhouse. I love the voodoo effect applied to a cadaver being cut open, and it's also the most graphic thing we see that isn't Ms. Benoit's head getting crushed in a dream. Dull Machete for lamest kill will go to the dude who got his soul taken by a demon bird. Caw! And that's it. Tales from the Hood 3 came out in October of 2020, and Rusty Cundiff has said he'd like to continue the franchise as a TV series. Good luck to him. On Friday, we enter the Blumhouse and look at Truth or Dare. But until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been the Kill Count. Thanks a lot.
Well, all done with that one. Got through that okay. So, what do you guys think of Tales from the Hood 3? It was pretty good, though the second and fourth stories seemed to be the weakest. I don't know. Just the runs, I don't know. Interesting idea, just maybe not the best way to do it, you know? Like I said, what do you guys think? Let me know. Till next time, like, subscribe for more. See ya.